I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Joah Santos, the CMO of Aldrin. Joah, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for taking the time to come on.
Hi, Ashton. Thanks for the invite.
You're very welcome. I'm excited to dive into Aldrin, the world of decentralized exchanges and centralized exchanges. And I know that your focus is on marketing, and I would really love to, first of all, just hear a little bit about your background, how you got involved in the blockchain space and in Aldrin from the marketing perspective.
Yeah, I kind of made a name for myself in marketing in the early 2000s, helping Del Bro Beauty, and then have helped other companies like Domino's Pizza or Airbnb. Most recent success has been for Corona Beer and some of the other Mexican beer brands that are owned by Anheuser-Busch, being able to make them top 10 beer brands in the world. And during quarantine, I started to kind of, think about what I do, right? So I would receive my fee for consulting and helping them change their brand. And they would go on to make billions, like the Anheuser-Busch added $13 billion to their brand value. And that was it for me. I was always a big fan of crypto, have been since 2012. And I said, look, I think it's time to use my own advice for my own thing. And I was going to start my own project, but then I found CCAI and Asham and what they were trying to do matched very well with what I was kind of thinking. So I reached out to CCAI and I said, hey, I might be able to help you guys. And that's kind of how the marriage started.
Very cool. And yeah, for those who aren't familiar, Aldrin was called Cryptocurrencies.ai, and I'm guessing maybe your marketing had something to do with the rebranding, and it does look a lot clearer on the picture just from the website and everything that you guys have going on right now. And to get people up to speed, I would love if you could give an overview of Aldrin and what are the primary solutions that your team is delivering to the cryptocurrency space.
Yeah, I mean, in a really one sentence thing is we want to make DeFi as easy to use as you use a bank, right? Or other financial services. Right now, it's very complicated. I always give this example. It's like if I want to turn on a light switch, I need to know what kind of wire I have in my wall, how dense is it, and then call the electric company, let them know, and let them know what the load bearing is before I hit the switch to turn it on, right? And we need to remove all that wiring. And to start, we're starting simple, and we're going with the DEX, and soon we're launching a SEX as well. But our mission is to really make those things invisible or make them as easy as possible. One of the things I'm really proud of is the rebalancer that we launched recently, where it would take someone hours to rebalance a portfolio that had like 10 tokens in it, right? If you had to figure out all the percentages and where to do it and then actually do it, now you just push over levers, hit go, and it does it for you automatically. So those type of innovative tools are what we're going to be adding. Plus we have smart tools for traders. An integration with TradingView will happen where, what you have set up as signals can actually generate a trade automatically. So there's a ton of things we're doing. All of them will be to make it easier for people to use. Right now, it's an exchange. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? Our ambition is huge, and it's really about ease of use. So, if Apple never really invented anything, but they made it easy to use, and that's what made it cool, and that's what we're here to do.
Definitely, Joah. Go ahead.
The CCAI name really didn't represent that ambition. It was too technical, and that's why we did the rebrand.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and it's tough when you're typing cryptocurrencies AI into Google. I'm sure there's going to be jillions of general articles on cryptocurrencies and AI, but those functionalities you mentioned and sort of the goal of making it easy to get into DeFi, being in DeFi for a little bit now, a rebalancer sounds amazing because it definitely is tedious right now for people that are involved in the industry. And as well, having extra functionality, whether you can integrate it into TradingView, have limit orders or stop losses and other advanced trade functions, really those need to be fleshed out. It's pretty much just like click buy and whatever the price is, is what you get on some of the decentralized exchanges right now, and you're sort of just at the mercy of the market.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Yeah, if you think about it, like if you have Solana in your portfolio since the 30s, right, it might now be 70–80% of your portfolio. And you might not get around to rebalancing your portfolio because it's hard to do. So at the end of the day, it's much more than just making it easy to use. It's actually helping people win more often because you don't have these tasks that will require a lot of your time, but you should do. So if you have 80% of your portfolio in Solana, that might be too heavy of a risk at the moment in your portfolio. You should look to diversify. And that's just smart financial management. And so those tools are important, not just because they're cool, but because it'll help people keep more of their money at the end of the day as well.
Definitely, yeah, and that's a good example. And now I'm curious, when you came in, with CCI sort of targeted towards, it's a little bit technical, and it's pretty common in the cryptocurrency industry that the product is marketed as a little bit too technical, because most of the time it's developed by coders or people that have been in crypto for a long time, and they think that people just understand what they're talking about, when in reality, sometimes it's another language of like, what is DeFi? What does that even mean? And what are all these functions? And it's really overwhelming when you jump into it, and there's so many different things. So I'm curious, moving forward with Aldrin, from a marketing perspective, are you specifically targeting those that haven't used DeFi before? It sounds like the other functions are also for intermediate and potentially advanced DeFi traders, or people that are trading cryptocurrency that aren't really in the decentralized world yet, but they're using centralized exchanges. So what is the sort of target market that you're primarily focusing on as you grow Aldrin?
Yeah, it's funny. I think in the crypto world or our world, we assume we don't need to explain what a stable coin is because it's self-explanatory to us. Next time you're at a restaurant, ask the waiter what a stable coin is. They have no idea. And that is your mass market, right? So if we want to attract them, we need to figure that out. In terms of who we're targeting, it really is, and I keep using this example, and I've always said when in the marketing world, I always said stop using Apple as an example, because you mentioned Apple because you can't be Apple, right? But in this scenario, I find it really similar, our curve of adoption of the computer world and the DeFi world, right? Which is, we're just at a maturity level where we need to start thinking about usability. And if you look at Apple, right, you had the top creative agencies and publishers using Apple, and then the common person as well, right? And that's actually what built the network. And that's the same thing we're doing. There's not a pro in the world that's going to use our DEX once we're finished in the next month or two with some of the smart tools we're adding that isn't going to love us, but it'll be done in such a simple way that a novice doesn't need to get into those advanced features. And they're not like, it's not all over the place and seem, scary. What does this do, right? And that's part of the mission, is it has to be super strong and powerful, but at the same time, simplified to a point where a novice can grab it and say, oh, okay, I know what to do. So yeah, it's for both. We don't have a target market, which typically sounds strange coming from a marketeer, but it's for traders of all skill ranges, and the platform will adapt based on your skill level.
Definitely. No, I think that's a great answer. And I do like the Apple examples. Everybody in the world seems like they're using Apple, and there's just so many, it's a diverse group of people, but they all seem to get value out of it.
Yeah.
So, and you mentioned there the platform, in 1 to 2 months. I would love to hear a little bit more. We did speak with Hisham, the CEO of Aldrin, earlier in the year in an interview, and he was talking about how much they've developed so far. And I would love to just get a snapshot of where the team is at right now with the platform. Are there early adopters getting on it, or when is that available?
Yeah, what convinced me about Aldrin or CCI at the time was how fast these developers were on the team, right? They get feedback from customers, and like in a week it's implemented. And that's really impressive to me because that's kind of what you need if you're going to grow with the ambition that we have. And we have been adding new features regularly. Almost seems like every 2 weeks we have something new to announce in terms of features. And there's a lot to still be done. And sometimes priorities change based on what our customers are doing. But yes, our numbers have gone way up in terms of how many people are using the platform. I think it's almost a 10x from where we were in late July. So really, really quickly, it started to take off. The price of our token, I think, is up 300% in the last 30 days. So we keep growing really fast. We're getting more people. Recently, last week, we almost had too much people that we needed to upgrade some things on our side, which is, it's good growing pains. But it's happening even much quicker than we thought. And what's really good is I've never seen a business, not even talking about crypto, where you send someone to their homepage and the amount of people that convert into a DEX user is the highest I've ever seen. Like if there was an e-commerce site, this it would be beating Amazon at the moment. It's just amazing when people see it, they like it, and they want to use it.
Yeah. And what have you done to make this conversion so high that makes it so easy for people to onboard?
We just simplified a lot of the language. We made everyone realize it's not what we're doing. We're trying to help our customers. Community super engaged, and it really is thanks to them. Like I include them. If I'm about to do something a week from now, I speak to them and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. If I start getting negative feedback, guess what? I'm probably not going to do it, right? Unless I have really strong conviction and my experience tells me otherwise, I'm going to listen to them. So I think it's the way we're involving the community in building this. The fact that everyone knows we're not known. I mean, we're not even listed on CoinMarketCap at the moment. So the company's not known. It's still, a secret, I think, and it's starting to get out. So people are getting excited about it because they see how fast we're building and where we can be.
Definitely. Well, 10x growth in users is obviously a clear sign that something's going right. And I would love to know what you're most excited about, Joah, with the releases that Aldrin's coming out with, in the coming months and by the end of this year and into next year. What are you most excited for in the next stages of Aldrin?
It's a complicated question because at the end of the day, I am a marketeer. I love marketing. I did work on Wall Street earlier, part of my career. And although we're launching the centralized exchange, although we're launching the automated market makers and staking, liquidity pools, and those things, those typical inside the box things, we're actually creating a marketing campaign that does something that I think no other brand has done. So to me, it's always about how do you add value. So if you think of a Mercedes is a lot more than just a car, right? It's a status symbol to show that you're making it, right? It's almost like a barrier to entry to show. I think it's almost like everyone's first car they get when they start to make decent money. It's like, let me show the parents I did well, right? It's kind of like, it means that almost. So it has an added benefit besides getting you from point A to point B in a comfortable fashion. And I don't think there's a crypto brand out there right now that does that has any added value to what they're doing. They're all, like you said correctly, it's made by tech people for tech people who speak Techinese, right? And it's time to show, how do we add value to the entire community, to the entire space, by the things we're saying and the power we have, because people gave us money to build a platform, but that also generates money we can use to change community. And that's what I'm really excited to get out there, because that's how brands grow and mean something. Right now, if I say, who are the leaders in crypto, you might say Michael Saylor, you might say certain influencer, or the Winklevoss twins, or, Pomp, you might say some of these people. None of them, no one says a brand, right? Except maybe Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's not run by anyone. So it doesn't point to anyone. So when you think of computers, you think Apple. When you think of sneakers, you think Nike. Think of cars, you might think of Mercedes, or Tesla. There's certain brands that help change society, and there's not one that's doing that in crypto yet in such a societal changing industry. And that's what I'm really excited to get started.
Yeah, that sounds very exciting, and I love that you're bringing in the big picture, Joah. So that sounds very promising for Aldrin, and I'll be looking for Aldrin in the from the everyday people. I talk to a lot of people that are just getting into cryptocurrency, and so to hear their perspective, I think that could be very promising. So looking forward to seeing how that plays out with Aldrin. For the viewers that are looking to start using the platform and learn more about the token as well, what's the best way for them to get involved into the Aldrin community?
If you go to aldrin.com, we have all our social media links. Join our Telegram, join our Discord. Talk to us. Someone from the team is almost always on there. And we have a really active community, and I think you'll see that if you come on board. Mm-hmm. But don't forget, check out our decks. I think you're going to automatically see the difference.
Great. Thank you so much, Joah. I will leave all those links in the description box below as well. All the best with Aldrin moving forward, and let's follow up in the near future.
I appreciate it, Ashton. Thank you.